The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant for the month of August, which is only 2 days left. Every new customer that signs up for online ordering at pizzahouse.pm will receive a 5% discount on their order. So make sure you sign up today or tomorrow because tomorrow is the last day. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Our feel good topic of the day is Black Girl Magic, Bermuda's female premiers, and our feel good vibe of the day is Joke Time with Jacky. So if you want to laugh to get your morning started, do make sure you stick around for that. But before we get into all of that, we're going to start with our feel good warm up of the day. Now, if you were on Twitter this Friday, you probably saw a really spicy conversation between a local business owner and a Bermudian woman. Now, if you missed it live, you may have kind of come in the aftermath and been wondering like, what was going on? What did I miss? And if you missed it all together, don't worry, because what really started the back and forth is not even known to me, and I don't even think that's important. What we wanted to ask you is this question. What are your thoughts on business owners managing their own social media accounts? And do you think that businesses are considered brands on social media? Before we get into your answers, I do want to see who we have in the audience. It looks like we have Sean Smith in with us. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
And it looks like we also have Kiwane. Good morning to you, Kiwane. So as you're joining us, let us know your thoughts on this question. Do you think business owners should manage their own social media? And Jacky, before we got live, we were talking about our business is brands, and your family business is Lambert Island Talents. Mm-hmm. So do you consider, that name a brand, and how do you show up, whether it's on social media, whether it's in the media, how do you show up to make sure that, you represent your brand?
I don't know. I always try and keep it PC, politically correct. So everybody has a right to their own opinion. So if you don't like the way I run my business, I usually take on what you say as constructive criticism, and I will adjust as necessary. If it's something like you want me to completely change locations because you don't like my location, then what I can do is address it by giving you the next best option, which is another academy, another company to work with. So if you don't want to be at Elbow or the tennis stadium, there are other places, and I'm obviously have a relationship with all the pros on the island.
Right.
And I have some overseas. So if my business and brand aren't up to par for you, then we can always get somebody else to accommodate you.
And do you or someone in the family run the social media for Lambert Island Tennis?
Myself and my sister, and we always just keep it very tennis and positive. Mm-hmm. It's very simple. We don't argue on social media. We've never actually had anybody down our business.
Okay.
So we've been lucky in that sense. We tried to keep everything running at a high caliber to ensure that we don't have these type of upsets.
Right.
We would never engage like that. A lot of stuff would have to be, hi, okay, can we get your name and number, and we'll contact you on the side. Certain things don't need to be public.
Right. I have a lot to say about this as a social media manager, but I wanted to obviously get Jacky's opinion as well as the audience's opinion, because sometimes I feel like I am a little bit, I'm connected to it. So there are certain things that I just don't think you should do on social media. I think there's like some best practice that you should follow. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just because I have that innately because I do social media that maybe I'm just holding people to a different standard. So it's like, well, let me just see what the audience is seeing. And if you did see the interaction, maybe you have a personal opinion on it as well. I think one of the saddest things for me to witness on social media is a business owner going back and forth with someone to defend, and I know it's to defend their brand, but in a way that it doesn't come across as, being receptive to the, information. Because it's like you said, constructive criticism will always come no matter what you're doing.
And I know you said it wasn't important about the backstory, but she wasn't attacking the business. She was just saying that for the price, it was expensive, especially if the facial isn't something the product isn't something you should put on your face in the first place. So yes, Twitter probably wasn't, but she was just venting and talking. And for a business to go out and apparently she already had the account, but it just wasn't used. She didn't actually have to do it. But to go out looking to have this conversation publicly and adding the person, you met with the intentions to argue and
to start something.
Really blew it out of the water. Not even out of proportion, like just it.
It really went from 0 to 100 real quick. And I did post, like, when people were asking the question, I just had the like popcorn gif because I was really sitting there like, as a social media, I'm watching this live and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really just want you to stop. Like, I really just want you to stop. But then I'm also like, I want to see this tea. Like, I want to see how this plays out. As someone who's pokey, I just want to see.
Cringing the entire time because
absolutely.
After a certain, I think it's okay to run your own social media when you're at a certain level.
And I actually want to, before you continue, I want to bring in some comments because Sean Smith actually says, if you're a small business with 1 to 5 employees, then yes, as your business grows, then hire someone to do it. And absolutely, I agree. And then it looks like we have Taja. Good morning to you, Taja. She says also, yes, very unprofessional. And Sean has a point. He says, in the beginning, only you can tell your story. And I think that's important too, to know that, you are your brand's voice in the beginning. So more than likely, 9 times out of 10, the business owner will run the social media. I think we have this comment from Kiwane, Jack, if you want to read it, that I think is very important.
I don't know if they need someone else to manage their social media accounts, but if you are providing a service, then a PR course at a minimum is required. The larger the company, then a budget should be set aside for possibly hiring somebody to manage the social media accounts.
Yeah, and continue what you were going to say earlier. You were mentioning something about you don't think that they might necessarily need to hire someone, but they can continue to do it themselves. You were going to say something else?
Right. So I always think that when it's something small, yes, keep it to yourself, keep it intimate, but also know that there are always going to be people that have the opposite opinion as you, of you, and you need to take into consideration how you should respond to certain things. That was not the response that should have happened. Or because she came in firing.
She came in guns a-blazing. She was quick to draw. And I was like, and when I say I didn't know the genesis, and that wasn't important, because I didn't know if the person had started talking about the brand like offline and it just got back to the business owner and she decided to come for her on social, or if it literally just started from when I saw that first mention. And also, one thing to keep in mind, too, is the way she framed the tweet. She said, say it with your chest, or talk with your chest, or something about with your chest. And if we know the Kevin Hart comedy show where he says, like, say it with your chest. And like his dad is like, got that deep voice. And so when you heard that already sounds, aggressive. It sounds like you're ready to put dukes up, like we're about to go 1-for-1.
It's like pushing your chest against somebody else. Like, how I used to bump shoulders?
Yeah, chest bump. Yep. I totally agree. And look, we have this comment from Sean Smith. He says, never get into a negative discussion with a customer online, take it offline. I think we all kind of come to the same consensus that, if you don't have the budget, then of course you will have to do it on your own, but you do want to be mindful. And I think Kivane's point around taking a PR course is that's a good one, because I think if you haven't studied marketing or if you haven't done it for a while, whether you've learned on your own or gone to YouTube University, there are some nuances that you just don't pick up. And as a business owner, it's your brand, it's your business, it's your baby. So of course you have some emotions and some feelings towards it. And if someone comes at your baby, all you want to do is defend it. But sometimes you have to take the emotional out of it because it can go really left really quickly. And I'm pretty sure she has probably lost some customers and maybe gained some. But I definitely feel like the reputation of her brand has probably taken a hit for all the great things she's done so far.
I don't think so. I think because of
in my eyes, it's definitely taken a.
I mean, some people are gonna look at it, but customers fluctuate. So she's lucky that she's young. She has time to bounce back, and because she's young, it's a learning curve, right? Everybody has that learning curve in the business. Like when they're running a business, owning a business. Gosh, I mean, we've been running our business for over 20 years. Well, I've been involved. My dad, obviously.
Way longer.
Way longer. But we've all had learning curves. I mean, I've had to go back and forth with, to their face, with hotel gas when we used to be at Elbow, and they told me that they will never come back again because I wouldn't give them a free lesson. I mean, at some point, people will try to take advantage. So you're going to always come and go. Customers are always going to come and go. But in this particular situation, I think that because there's a lot of people on either side of the bridge, a lot of people are helping and defending the business, and then other people on the other person's side. I can't remember how much it was, but I think it was like $150 for a facial, it was over $100 for a facial, and they were using a sugar scrub, and apparently you must put that on your skin because it's too abrasive, and it can lead to different
other issues,
hyperpigmentation and bad acne, other things. So the person was just, I wouldn't pay that, and then it started to go back and forth. So I think
it escalated really quickly.
I think it started off well, but anyway, we'll
So it looks like before we go into our commercial break, Kivani says, now I need to go on Twitter for the tea. You might not be able to see the whole conversation, but you might be able to piece what Jacky and I share with you today with what you do find on Twitter. And on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with our feel-good topic of the day, which is Black Girl Magic, Bermuda's female premier. So you make sure you do not go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. Do remember, for the month of August, every new customer that signs up for online ordering at pizzahouse.pm will receive a 5% discount on their order. So make sure you sign up today or tomorrow, because there's only 2 days left in August for you to sign up. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us, our feel-good topic of the day is Black Girl Magic, Bermuda's female premier. So we're going to be doing a little bit of trivia, like I like to do with these type of topics, and we're also going to be getting your opinion on some questions that we have around Bermuda's politicians, specifically female politicians. But to warm us up, we're going to ask this question: when did Bermuda's first female premier take office? If you can get the month and the year, we'll give you credit. If you can get the exact date, you are going to be a rock star. Now, Jacky, I need you to put in your thinking cap. I need you to have a think or a guess or no. What month and year was Bermuda's first premier? Did she first take office? Not when she was, first take office.
First take office. Good.
Audience, you know what to do. Answer in the comments. Let us know your answers.
There's an 8 in it, but I can't remember.
Okay, she said there's the 8 in it. There's an 8. Apparently, Jack is trying to give you a lifeline.
I was just talking about this with my aunt and my dad yesterday. He was, oh my God.
I see the answer in the comments, but I'm not going to pull it up yet because Jacky can't see it. So that's why I'm not going to pull it up. You said 1978?
Yes. Was it before I was born? 1998?
Okay, 1998 is what you're saying. Okay, you're saying 1998. Audience, let us know in the comments the month and the year of when Bermuda's first premier took office. And I will give you a hint on who the person is. It's Dame Pamela Gordon. So if you don't know,
97.
now you know. Okay, Jackie changed her answer to 97.
I'm saying March.
Okay, so now Jackie has completed her answer. She's saying March 1997. We're going to see if she's correct. I see some comments coming in from the audience. So let us know if you agree with Jackie or if you disagree with Jackie. And so just speaking of that, Jack, from that conversation you were having with your aunt and I think your dad, like how did that start for you? Like, was it like a trail in the conversation or was it like, let's talk about female politicians? Like, how did it start?
So on Saturday was my dad's birthday. So Sunday, I sent him to dinner on Saturday, but on yesterday I had the family over and it was just him, his sisters, his nieces, and then of course his children. And we were just sitting down, they were talking about this show, and then we were talking about family gatherings and May 24th, Dame Jennifer Smith is actually a good friend of the family. She's basically like my dad and his sister's extra sibling. She's like my aunt. And we were just talking about, you know, Black Girl Magic, girl power, how well the show's going and all that stuff. And then, you know, how conversations go. We're just like, I was like, how is Aunt Jennifer? And then we just, it just, there's no structure after that.
So it was a free-flowing conversation after that. So to give the audience and Jackie a reprieve, you are all correct. March 1997 is when Dame Pamela Gordon first took office. The exact date is March 27th, 1997. And what I find interesting about Dame Pamela Gordon, so, you know, when you're preparing this type of content, you want to get some facts about these women so that you can kind of celebrate them because most of them are still alive. All of them actually are still alive. So you want to give them their flowers while they're here. So Dame Pamela Gordon was actually the youngest and first female premier of Bermuda when she took office. And it took us, she was, I can't remember what number she was specifically, but we had only had maybe 5 or 6 odd premiers in our history. Before that, they were called government leaders because, you know, still under crown. It is what it is. But I thought it was interesting because 1997, some of the other first, she was one of the youngest on her party, I believe, which is, if you don't know UBP, she was the leader of the UBP at the time is when she took office. And I thought that was really interesting because that was only 30 years ago, not even less than 30 years ago. And we haven't seen very much other female politicians take the realm in that space. We do have 2 other female premiers that we're going to talk about. So we're going to warm you up again. I got another question for you before we start talking about our opinions. This one, now y'all should know this one because if you don't know, I'm gonna feel some type of way. When did Bermuda's first elected female premier take office? Because although Dame Pamela Gordon is the first female premier, she wasn't elected. She was subsequently, I guess, but I don't know what the term is. Jesus, I done lost it. The previous premier resigned and she was named the successor. So she wasn't elected. So when did Bermuda's first female premier take office, month and year? Let us know in the comments. Jackie's going to guess. She already gave you the answer of who the person is. So you should be able to figure that out after that.
Oh, I'm guessing?
Of course. It's you and the audience. It's you and the audience against me.
Hold on. Let me come backwards because I know she came out in 2003?
I love that only one person in the comments has given me the right answer because it just makes me feel like I am going to be doing a really great service to you all today for today's show. I feel excited. But continue with your guess.
I don't want to guess anymore.
The way I've set it up, she's like, it's recorded. But you did give the answer. So you already spoke about the person who is the first female elected premier. So you already gave that answer. So now I just need you to put your thinking cap on.
And I know she led them to 2 terms, but was it consecutive? I can't remember.
All I need you to guess is the month and year of when she took office. You're over her going all the way down the Mulberry Bush.
Can I just say 1998?
You can absolutely say the year. I won't give you full credit, but you know, I give you a half mark because you try.
You know I can't go to Google, right? And I'm so
nope,
and
absolutely not.
This is how your trivias work. I'm not allowed to do all the extra.
Exactly. I'll give you 98. I'll give you 98 as part of your answer. So Sean Smith, Paula Cox was not the first elected female premier. It was actually Dame Jennifer Smith, and it wasn't in 2010. Sheldon Eugene Fox II is the closest, November 1998. So Jack, yes, you had the year right. So did Sean. So it's actually November 10th when she took office. So yes, Asha, it is Dame Jennifer. And one of the things, so that's Jackie's family friend. So I found this really interesting about Dame Jennifer Smith, that she was a political reporter and editor for the Bermuda Recorder newspaper, which before that, she wasn't studying like political science or anything like that. She was studying something else from what I read on her biography. And I thought it was interesting that, you know, one of her jobs that she took on led her down the path of being a politician. So the first question we have for the audience is, do you think Bermuda's next premier should be a female? I feel like we're due for another female premier. So let us know in the audience, what are your thoughts on, you know, Bermuda having a female premier next? Like, do you think it's time? Do you think there's a different political personality to females than men? Like, what are your thoughts on, you know, Bermuda's next premier being female? Excuse me. I'm asking you, Jack.
I know. I say yes. It should be a female. I don't have any candidates per se just yet. I'm still quietly watching a few, and I don't want to name them and jinx them because this is so hopeful, and I don't want to say it now and then something happened. I'm just like, ooh, I said that out loud, and
yeah,
it's gonna be a part of history because it's recorded. I'm not gonna.
You might be right or wrong. You might be right or wrong.
I'll keep it to myself just a little bit longer. I know they're still, you know, putting their foot to the paddle and trying to get things done, and yeah, she may follow in her.
So what is it about this person that makes you think, because you don't have to name the person, that's fine, but like, what is it about the person that makes you think that she'd be a good candidate for being the next premier?
How do I say this without giving it away? Their upbringing, their outlook on life, their ideology, and what they're already trying to do for the community and things that they're trying to change. The passion from a young age to now has been very consistent. And I think how her family has raised her and nurtured her, and her love for the island will actually be a good thing to because a lot of people that go into office, they have great intentions, but a lot of them get into politics for the money. This person, I feel like, yes, it's for the money, but at the same time, they held something else that's a little bit more powerful.
Right. So we have a few comments. It did make sense. We have a few comments that I want to bring in. So we have this first one from Jamal Hartman. He says, gender doesn't matter or shouldn't matter in leadership. Our problem is we're too caught in optics and not political ideology, which is of most importance. So Jamal, on that note, what about political ideology is most important to you? So what are some aspects of political ideology that, you know, you care about and you want to see in your politicians? And then we have a comment here from Sean Smith. He says, who will it be, ladies, as we don't have many ladies in the house? And that was actually one thing that I didn't know in, you know, just getting some of this information. I'm going to give you the stats on how many female politicians are in each party. There's only 2 currently. There are 10 female politicians in the PLP, and there are 4 in the OBA. So for the PLP, 28% of the party is represented by women, and they have 36 persons total. And for the OBA, that's 33%. So there's 4 women represent 33%, but they only have 12 total in their party, for what I could find on their party websites. So to Sean's point, like, there isn't the biggest pool of female politicians. So like, what are some things that we can do to encourage women to get into politics? Like, do you think that the space has just always been, because it's always been like a male dominated space, that it's just difficult for women to get in and have a voice? Or do you think women just don't find it interesting? While you're thinking about your answer, Jack, I want to bring in this comment from Carmen Mitchell-Jones. She says, depends on if the person has the qualifications and ability to lead. I think that's a great point too. Like, do you have the ability to lead? Because not everyone's a leader.
And not everybody, some people do have the qualities and qualifications to lead, but they don't want to. Mm-hmm. They want to quietly do things in the back and give somebody else the role in the face. I mean, that's how they thought they were going to do it with Donald Trump, and that didn't work out.
You guys are
he was supposed to just be the fall guy, and then he started going off script.
Y'all allowed a whole Gemini in there, and I just feel for you. I feel for you all that do not have Geminis in your life.
Y'all know what you want, but there's so many options, so you change course so quickly.
And just in case you didn't know, I'm your resident Gemini, so just take that. Take that. I'm not
say what I say, because I
just take that for a grain of salt, y'all. So I see we have a comment coming in. Jamal Hartman, Jack.
The issue isn't women in politics. It's about convincing the smartest people to join. They don't, because they don't want what comes with it, and I can't blame them. No.
And let's talk about what comes with it. Like, what comes with being a politician in Bermuda? Or in general, right? But I specifically want to talk about Bermuda. So what comes with being a politician that doesn't make it attractive?
So on a smaller scale, I watched my dad run tennis, and of course he always comes with a huge committee. Everybody has their role, select committees, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of people on the outside looking in that doesn't know what it takes to run a sport, and this is on a smaller scale. This isn't running a country, and everybody has an idea of how it should be done, but nobody actually wants to help you put in the work. So everybody is constantly saying, you should do this, try this, but they don't even know if it actually will work. So they want you to do the trial and error. That way you take the fall for it if it doesn't work out.
If it doesn't work out, yeah.
Once again, being a leader means that you have to go through uncharted territory and see if it works, and if it doesn't work, you're the fall guy, because you're the only person that they see. So like David Brett, for example, everybody hates him, but it's not just him that's saying yes or no and making the decisions. So you aren't running up to everybody else and harassing them and wanting to fight them, but you have to deal with that. So,
yeah. So I see we have a few comments to, what do you have to deal with when it comes to being a politician in Bermuda? And Wicked Llama says, who wants to deal with the personal attacks, right? And that's literally what we see on social media. We see that in like conversation, like you hear people like calling into the radio station to talk to the premier to say, you, sir, like it's you that's doing this. And it's like some of it is policy, some of it's outdated policy, albeit, but some of it is actually the policy, and he's just executing the policy to the best of his ability. So I want to get into this comment from Jamal, Jack, before we get ready to go to a commercial break.
What comes with being a politician? Working with people who are looking for a paycheck and have no interest in working for the people.
And I think that's one thing too, like, because you mentioned, most people, or most politicians, we think go in with good intentions, and then, somewhere along the line it may stray. And some people actually go in with no good intentions, and actually are just trying to do things for their own benefit.
That I got over $100,000 just because I got elected and I went in, whether I finish a term or not. Like, I will always get that paycheck coming in. I would absolutely get into politics. That's easy.
I mean, this is Jackie not saying that in real life, that was definitely a joke. That was sarcasm. So don't be clipping up this video and trying to circulate that like Mr. Photogenic be doing and trying to do a little voiceover. That was sarcasm, letting you know it was sarcasm. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to continue our conversation, which is Black Girl Magic. We're talking about Bermuda's female premiers. Don't go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. Do remember that for the month of August, 2 days left, every new customer that signs up for online ordering at pizzahouse.bm will receive a 5% discount on their order. So make sure you sign up today. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And we do want to give you a reminder, if you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you give us a reaction. To those of you over there on YouTube, if you haven't already, hit that like button. And to all of our peeps over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. Before we get into our feel good vibe of the day, which is Joe Time with Jacky, if you're just joining us, we do have one more question that we want to ask you, and it's this: do you think our news media, Bermuda's news media, would benefit from a newspaper such as the Bermuda Recorder? I feel like there is so much conversation around news media, specifically around the world, not just in Bermuda, but it's very interesting for us because we really only have two entities that are considered news media, and one is definitely biased in one respect and another, it seems more neutral. And I just wonder, do you think if we had a similar newspaper to the Recorder in 2021, obviously with a little bit more technology in the mix, do you think we would benefit from that? Yes or no, and why or why not? While Jacky's thinking.
Because I want to say yes. I mean, more is always better because then you will have a different outlook, and then obviously we used to have a lot more, obviously. And I used to pick up all three. Was it 3 papers? Yeah, I used to pick up all 3 papers for my dad. So I used to run 1, 2, 3, go there, and we'd compare the notes and the stories, and you can hear the different tones. So you can hear the tone on this story where it's like, say, angry. There's too much emotion invested in this story. This one's neutral, and this one, like, you could have the hate, the bias, love, hate, and then neutral.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole his, hers, and the truth. And you'll be able to put all the pieces together and find out what the truth was.
So you think now, because we have a limited amount of, news media that we can rely on, that we're only getting one side of the story in some cases?
Yeah. But I also know that, speaking to somebody in the media, because they did reach out to me when I was talking about my situation where they reworded my story.
Your quote?
So somebody actually messaged me and was telling me how it was unfortunate, and that sometimes they will put in part of the story to be able to stretch the story out. So now that's given me a different outlook on media, and I was continuously looking for the other side, like, the other shoe to drop, or story, or their outlook for the rest of the story.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So audience, let us know in the comments if you think Bermuda would benefit from having another newspaper such as the Bermuda Recorder, or if there's another type of newspaper that you think we should have. Let us know in the comments. I want to get to this comment from Sheldon Eugene Fox II. He says, it's easy to make comments while not being in the hot seat. Many may start with good intentions, but once they encounter the bureaucracy, it overwhelms them. Listen, red tape is annoying in any industry. I don't care which industry it is. I think it's a little bit more public in the government space because that's, they represent the people. They're supposed to represent the people. We're supposed to see what they're doing. So I definitely feel like, I think to his point, it can, make some people want to get out or never go back. So I do want to give thanks to all the politicians out there that have made the decision to represent us or be in those spaces. I take my hat off to you, because it is not something that I would be interested in doing in any form or fashion.
I'd rather try to, create change quietly in the back.
And yeah, let's talk about that, because there are other ways to create change, right? You don't necessarily have to go into politics if that's not your space, your wheelhouse. Jacky, we're actually going to have a conversation tomorrow about tennis in Bermuda, and we're going to be talking about whether it's a lost sport or if it's making a comeback, and that's a way to make change yourself. And Kayla, we're talking about that on Friday, just like, encouraging more girls to get in and bring their friends, so that, we have a plethora of Serena Williams Juniors, Jackie Lambert Juniors, and Kayla Cross Juniors that are ready to represent Bermuda on big stages at all of the Grand Slams, because when there's a Bermuda at the Grand Slam, you know we'll come about air horns. And I just don't think they're ready. I do not think they're ready for what we're about to bring.
It's definitely coming.
Absolutely. So we're going to get to a few more comments before we get into our feel good vibe of the day, which is joke time with Jackie. So get your bellies ready because you're probably going to get an ab workout. You're welcome. Carmen Mitchell-Jen says, yes, it's good to have different views of information. We absolutely agree. And it looks like Anika DeShields is joining us. Good day to you, Anika. And Sean Smith says, that's a tough one because at the end of the day, money will influence how a story will be told. That's an interesting point too, right? Because, you know, if there's sponsors for a specific media, maybe that does influence, you know, how they report stories or what type of light they shed on certain businesses, certain people versus others. So that's a really great point.
Well, don't forget when you read it that you have to read the comments as well, and then slide over to Facebook and hear what the aunties say, and then slide over to Twitter. So we still have other outlets that call everybody out because, you know, social media doesn't hold back.
In the age of technology and the access to information that we have, one thing's for certain, if someone doesn't agree with you, they will let you know. It doesn't matter. So as we wrap up, Jack, what are your thoughts on today's conversation? I know you started to talk about where your parents went for the birthday dinner, but you didn't tell the audience where exactly it was. So I think you should tell them.
Okay, so I sent my dad, it was my dad's 66th birthday, and he works really hard, so I sent him down to Ileana's, and they won't stop talking about it. They have yet to stop talking about it. It's now our new family favorite restaurant. We obviously had another one, but since sending them down there, they enjoyed the atmosphere. They enjoyed the food. They loved the food. My dad has already started to plan a family get together because obviously it holds 30 to 35 people. And that's how much most of our family dinners end up being. So he's like, we're going to do a set menu and this is all we're going to do.
He's excited. He's excited, and we're excited for him. So, audience, if you haven't as yet been down to Aliana's, do make sure you head down there. Jackie's dad has approved it. He's a former maitre d'. So, if you're looking for someone with that experience and expertise, he obviously has that, and he has signed off on it. So, don't just take Jackie and I's word for it. You can take her dad's word for it. And go down there and experience it for yourself and come back and let us know what you thought of it. Before we get into your joke time, Jack, I do want to bring up this comment from Carmen Mitchell-Jen. She says, reporting comes down to integrity. And that's a really good point and a word that we do want to make sure that we continue to circulate and remind people of: integrity. As long as you do it with a sense of integrity, you know, whatever people say, they will say. But as long as you're doing it with integrity, you can feel good about your story. Jack, I am ready to guess or try my best to guess the answers to your corny jokes. So audience, if this is the first time you're joining us, Joke Time with Jackie means that you need to let us know your reaction to the jokes, whether you want to give us a reaction on Facebook, drop the emojis in the comments. I'm going to do my best to keep a straight face, but I won't because they're always funny. So Joke Time with you, Jack. Over to you.
Okay. Why didn't the shrimp want to share his treasure?
Why didn't the shrimp want to share his treasure? He's a shellfish, right? He's shellfish.
Oh my god.
That was a good one.
Why couldn't the sesame seed leave the casino?
Okay, why couldn't the sesame seed leave the casino? Sesame seed. Abracadabra. It's something about a genie. Open sesame. He couldn't have any door. I don't know.
Because he was on a roll.
On a roll. Anika got that one too.
Yes. Okay. Why did the taxi driver get fired?
Because it was a fake sign. Okay, why did the taxi driver get fired? Why did the taxi driver get fired?
I love this one.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because the passengers didn't like it when he went the extra mile. Like what? There's sometimes sometimes you can't go the extra mile, and being a taxi driver is one.
You can't go the extra mile. It's too expensive. It's too expensive to go the extra mile. I love this. I love this one from Sherry. She says it wasn't fair. That's a good one. That is absolutely a good one. And on that note, we hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza's and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation where Jackie and I will be discussing tennis in Bermuda and whether it's a lost sport or if it's making a comeback. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.